Hello, everyone. We are just going to get started in a couple minutes here. Can you tell me in the chat if you can hear me okay? Hope the networking sessions were great. Really excited to get going. We're just going to give everybody a minute to come over from the breakout rooms. This is going to be new for everybody, but super excited about it and excited to get going. So we're going to let everybody come over. It looks like everybody, we got a yes from everyone. They can hear. Good. All systems are go. Good to hear. Let's get this thing rolling. So excited for this. Want to welcome everybody to the 5th annual Reverse Pitch Competition final event. So my name is Jack Flagler. I'm the Central Austin editor for Community Impact Newspaper. We are a free monthly newspaper. We have 9 editions here in Central Texas. We are really excited to be a part of this. Thank you so much for having me back. I guess that means I didn't bomb in February at the opening pitch at Rowling Hall at UT. So great news there. Also, you gave me an excuse to put on something other than a t-shirt and sweatpants. Really appreciate that opportunity. So thank you all around. Honestly, we're so excited to be a part of this event and just to hear about the local sustainability efforts in our community from these entrepreneurs. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge how hard the last month and a half has been for everybody, no matter who you are, what you're doing. This has been really difficult. It's upended everybody's life in some way. No matter what you're going through, I just want to encourage you to give yourself the space to feel whatever you're feeling. And, you know, before we get going into these exciting ideas, just acknowledge that for everyone. This has been really difficult for everybody. And we're going to roll with it. This is going to be a great event tonight. We're really excited. With that said, this is our first virtual reverse pitch. You may see my dog walk into the frame behind me. You may see him bark at the cats next door. You may hear him at some point. It'll be new for everybody. We're going to embrace the technology. We're going to go with the flow. I'm so glad to get this started. So the reverse pitch competition supports the city of Austin's goal to reach zero waste while supporting job creation in the recycling and reuse sectors. Austin Resource Recovery would like to give a special thanks to Austinites for doing their part to keep the sanitation workers safe. And please remember to bag and tie your trash. Use a BPI certified compostable bag or a paper bag for organics, and keep recyclables loose and clean in the cart. If you'd like to stay updated on services, or if you have questions about what goes in each bin, you can download the new mobile app. It's really cool. That was just launched, Recycle ATX. The Reverse Pitch Competition is a partnership between the City of Austin, the Austin Young Chamber of Commerce, and the U.S. Business Council for Sustainable Development. Thank you to our event sponsor tonight, Vela Wood, as well as our in-kind partners as the University of Texas at Austin McCombs School of Business and the Social Entrepreneurship Learning Lab. Thank you so much. Real quick, I just want to give a brief overview of Reverse to kind of get you caught up to where we are tonight. It's a competition that's the opposite of a traditional pitch, right? Where entrepreneurs present their business ideas to potential investors. Reverse pitch is an opportunity for entrepreneurs to hear from the businesses about the waste materials created after they've made their products. So think spent grain after the beer has been brewed, or fabric scraps after garments have been sewn together, things like that. The Reverse Pitch event helps turn those would-be trash materials into the foundation for new profitable businesses. And the competition is designed to inspire profitable ventures and support a more circular local economy. So that's a little bit about where we were before. Let's talk about how we got here tonight. So at the opening event in February, 5 businesses pitched byproduct materials to local entrepreneurs. This year's competition featured decorator fabric samples from Austin Creative Reuse and IIDA. We had PVC sandals from Travis County. We had composite wood furniture from the University of Texas at Austin Resource Recovery, vinyl record PVC waste from Gold Rush Vinyl, and we had polycarbonate plastic die-cut skeletons from HID Global. Those are the materials that these entrepreneurs are working with. And after hearing the pitches, talking with the material suppliers, asking some really great questions, that was such a fun event. These entrepreneurs worked with mentors and advisors to craft and refine a business idea that creatively reused or repurposed one or more of the byproducts in the competition. My dog just barked, so if you had under 6 minutes on dog barking, you won that bet there. They submitted written proposals that were scored online by our 5 judges. These proposals were also reviewed and then separately scored by their material supplier. The combination of those 2 scores, those determine the 4 seed finalists we have here this evening. And the winners will be determined by adding those scores from their written proposals to the judges' scores of the pitches tonight. So that's what's been going on over the last few weeks. Thank you for the haha in the chat. I appreciate that. There's no audience here, so it's hard to say. That's what's been going on over the last few weeks. Here's what you're going to see tonight virtually. You're going to hear from the 4 seed stage finalists who are pitching a brand new business idea. Since we did not have any growth stage competitors this year, we're going to be awarding a $10,000 prize to the top 2 scores this evening. I want to repeat that because it's super exciting. $10,000 prize to the top 2 scores. That's awesome. After the pitches, we're going to quickly tally the scores. Then we'll all gather back together to announce the 2 Innovation Prize recipients. We may go a little bit past 7:30, so bear with us. You won't want to miss that winner announcement at the end for sure. Also, for this event tonight, we're going to play some trivia in between contestants to give the judges some time to submit their scores and test your reuse knowledge. That should be fun. And we'll be using the poll feature that's right here in Crowdcast, which can be seen at the bottom of your video screen right under me, just to the left of the chat box right there. So while we're waiting for the final scores to be tallied after our last pitch, you'll have time to vote for your People's Choice winner right here at Crowdcast. That People's Choice winner will win a $25 gift card to a local green business. And all those questions for the trivia are going to be multiple choice. So let's see if we can do a practice question here to get us started. Question 1, with a poll right here underneath me, if you can see that, is going to be, why are you here? What brought you here tonight? Not too existential or deep, just why are you here at this event? What brought you in? You'll see polls right there with the number 1 beside it. You can see competing in reverse pitch, networking with local businesses, supporting a reverse pitch finalist, learning more about the circular economy in Austin, or bored at home. So far, no votes for bored at home. We got a few votes coming in. You can see how that works. Daniela says circular economy and beyond. I love that. So you can see how that poll function works right there. And again, before we get started, I just want to repeat this because it's super exciting. 2 of tonight's seed stage winners are going to receive an innovation prize of $10,000, as well as in-kind prizes valued at over $5,000. That's awesome. And there's going to be a video of tonight's event as well. That's at reversepitch.org. And we're going to use the hashtag on social media. The hashtag is going to be hashtag reversepitchatx for any social media posts. So you can see as we scroll through there, again, the website is reversepitch.org and the hashtag is reversepitchatx. You can see the Twitter handles to tag as well, Facebook and Instagram. You can see my tweet up there from earlier tonight. If you search that hashtag, please add to it. Nobody wants to see that selfie of me in my living room when they search the hashtag. So we definitely want some more up there from you guys. Before we get started, I want to introduce our reverse judges. These judges score the finalist applications. They'll also be digitally scoring our pitches tonight to determine the winners. We have Aaron Keys, the director of the Water and Food Incubator at Austin Technology Incubator. Aaron is here tonight. We have Marianne Ward Paradosa. She's the dean and professor at the Bill Monday School of Business at St. Ed's. We're going to let the judges give a little wave. Hey, there's Erin. She's first up. Erin, again, is the director of the Water and Food Incubator at Austin Technology Incubator. Erin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
We also have Marianne Ward Paradosa. She's the dean and professor at the Bill Monday School of Business at St. Edward's University. Let's see if we can get Marianne up on the screen here as we go through our judges here tonight. Second dog bark. He's out on the porch. There's Marianne. Hi, Marianne.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm really happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
And our third judge tonight is going to be William Stockton. He's the VP of Retail and Decon Operations for Austin Habitat for Humanity. We'll get William up to give a little introduction here. Hilltoppers in the house. I love that with St. Ed's. There's William. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, William. Appreciate you being here.
Glad to be here.
Our fourth judge is going to be Jim Walker. He's the Director of Sustainability at the University of Texas at Austin. We'll get Jim up on the screen here to introduce himself and give a little wave. Hey, Jim. Hook 'em. Love it. And our final judge tonight is going to be Radney Wood. He's a partner at Vela Wood, attorneys and counselors. So those are your 5 judges for tonight. Let's make sure I counted them correctly. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 judges tonight. Radney is the last of the 5. We'll let him get up here and give you a little wave and introduce himself. Hook 'em, says Rishi in the chat. Love that. Got some St. Ed's and UT Austin represented. There's Radney. How you doing, Radney? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to our 5 judges. We so appreciate their time to be involved in this competition. Seriously, we can't express our appreciation enough for them, for you, for being here, for our entrepreneurs, the manufacturers, everybody involved in this. It should be a great event. Really looking forward to it. And we are going to move on to our pitches now. So each finalist is going to have 8 minutes to pitch. The judges will have the opportunity to ask 1 question to each finalist. Finalists, just want to remind you to keep your answers as brief as possible. We're going to strictly enforce those time limits just to keep it fair for everybody. Don't make us cut you off. We definitely don't want to do that. And judges, just be mindful of those time limits as well. Just want to keep those consistent for everybody across the board. So we're going to do our first seed pitch here. We're going to start with Samantha Panger with LoFi Recycling Systems. And the materials Samantha was working with and LoFi were working with were repurposing scrap PVC waste from vinyl record production. So we'll bring up Samantha now.
Ooh, okay. 1 second. Hi, I'm Samantha Panger. I'm just getting PowerPoint all sorted really quick. Okay. And I'm with LoFi Recycling Systems. After living in a small apartment for 10 years, I became frustrated with the idea. Can everyone see and hear this? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. After living in a small apartment for about 10 years, I became frustrated with the idea that you need very specific windows or an outdoor space to grow thriving plants. I felt that plants enriched my life, but I couldn't justify increased rent to provide them with what they needed. And what started as casual research to mitigate this problem has grown into LoFi. The goal of LoFi Recycling Systems is to repurpose a unique and challenging waste stream into products that bring lush plants into people's homes. We seek to create a plastic planter out of recycled PVC flashing and unviable records from Gold Rush vinyl. We would like to use the precious plastic manufacturing process to divert this waste stream and create a space where the Austin community can come to learn about this recycling system. Gold Rush Vinyl currently sends about 1 ton of PVC waste to the landfill a month. PVC is difficult to recycle due to high levels of chlorine and other additives contained within it, and the varied manufacturing processes used to create it. PVC that is landfill eventually emits heavy metals and plasticizers that over time cannot be eliminated from landfill leachate and therefore can end up in our aquatic ecosystems. Gold Rush Vinyl's PVC waste is perfect for our purposes as it is created by one manufacturer, not mixed with any other plastics, and designed to be thermoformed, allowing us to reflow it into new products. LoFi will build out our manufacturing around the precious plastic templates for basic shredder and compression machines. With these, we will be able to regrind the PVC waste, heat it to its flow temp, and compress it into its new shape. These machines are very simple and made from low-cost items that are often already landfilled. By using reclaimed materials for our machines, we can keep the manufacturing costs low. We can make 4 to 5 pots per compression cycle, and with our finishing, packaging, and labor costs, we predict we can produce our simple products for under $9 a unit and sell them for $10 to $16, depending on size, and this falls within a competitive pricing model for locally made home decor items. As we establish our presence and solidify our cash flow, we will expand by developing full-spectrum supplemental lighting attachments for our existing pot design. These attachments will also use Gold Rush PVC and allow us to sell illuminated planters for 10 to 20% under the competitive market pricing to start. LoFi is committed to being a part of the Austin community, and we want to share this process with anyone who is interested in recycling their own plastic waste. We will offer classes that enable an active role in turning that waste back into something useful. LoFi aims to keep PVC we use from ever ending up in a landfill with our repotting program. Our customers can pay a reduced fee to upgrade to the next size pot as their plant grows and return their smaller pot back to us for repurposing into other products. As we continue to grow, we would like to partner with local Austin nurseries to create planters with seed kits and starter plants, bringing a little bit of the native Austin landscape inside. We see LoFi as a good investment based on the large market share we are entering, our low startup cost, our estimated 15% growth rate, our community involvement, and anticipated social impact. Our net operating income will be put back into the business to increase staff hours, create inventory, and acquire additional machinery. The number of nursery and garden businesses in the United States has doubled in the past 7 years. Plant and flower growing makes up $15 billion of the garden industry, and garden centers say that succulents and indoor foliage plants make up roughly 31% of what they grow for consumers. This is a $4.5 billion market share of plants perfectly suited for LoFi pots. The plastic planter market has room for growth in the recycled materials and is underdeveloped, particularly in the grow light sector. There are a range of planters with supplemental lighting available made from virgin plastic. Much of this competition includes seed pods and enables customers to grow food, which values them at a high price point. When we partner with a nursery to create seed and starter plant kits, we will be able to value our product at least 40% under the leading competition with a similar seed pod product. Our revenue will be driven by sales of planters at local Austin nurseries, craft fairs, and online. In addition, we will offer a repotting program for customers as their plant grows. If 25% of our customers participate in this closed loop service, we could prevent at least 1,000 new plastic pots from entering the waste stream. We will also be offering classes year-round, and as planter sales fluctuate with growing seasons, we can adjust the amount of classes we offer. We conservatively estimate being able to reach 100 people this way within the first year. LoFi is committed to paying employees the living wage. In our first year, we would be able to afford one part-time employee at $15 an hour and offer our hours at craft fair sales for $18 an hour. As the company grows, we will add more staff and more hours without compromising our living wage goals. We plan to hire a full-time employee at the start of our second year and continue to employ from Austin's gig economy workforce for our craft fair staff. By creating a viable hourly employment for freelance workforce, we will be supporting local Austin artists and those impacted by traditional employment barriers. We estimate our use of Gold Rush Finals waste will free up over $500 of their funds currently spent on disposal. We expect to grow that amount of waste diverted as we reinvest in our company and acquire more manufacturing volume. By diverting over 2 tons of PVC waste from our landfills, we can potentially prevent $20,000 in long-term reduced environmental value. LoFi will be able to divert roughly 2.7 tons of PVC in year 1, removing the greenhouse gas emissions equivalent to the annual emissions of 1 passenger vehicle. Our classes show product transformation, which could inspire participants to increase their recycling habits by at least 30%. All told, we estimate we can achieve a social return on investment of $1.27. Destin and I have a combined 8 years experience in successful fundraising strategies. In addition, I have 10 years of experience in mechanical repair, and Destin has experience as a small business owner and is a first-year candidate at UT McCombs School of Business. We would like to add an electrical engineer to our team to assist in the creation of more complex products, and eventually a materials scientist to help us further understand the potential of. Moving forward, initially we would raise an additional $7,000 of funding in a friends and family investment round, solidify relationships with local Austin shops and nurseries, and create a website for e-commerce. We would like to thank Mel Martin for her guidance and technical support as all of this moved online, and Jordan Fengel for being a phenomenal mentor, and Sam Lin for really great and informative workshops. We're excited about this process and cannot wait to make beautiful items that encourage thriving plants and people without creating more pollution.
All right, we're going to go to the judges' questions now. Thank you so much, Samantha, for that presentation. First up for our judges is going to be Aaron with the first question. We'll go Aaron, Marianne, William, Jim, and Radney. And again, this is one question for judges per presentation. So we'll start with Aaron. And we'll get her up on the screen to ask that question.
Great. Hello, can everyone hear me?
We can. Hey, Aaron.
Hi.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi. Good idea. I have a question around customer discovery and your market. So the 4,500 units that you mentioned in year one, what % of the market is that in Austin, and how much customer discovery have you done around what differentiates how people purchase pots?
Our customer discovery will be based on craft fairs and local like nursery and gift shops. So the percentage is a little hard to understand in the diversity of all of those venues. We have reached out to 10 potential partners, and we have received pretty good feedback on our prototype and interest from half of those. We think that we can reach over 320,000 people via craft fairs that have moved online to have more virtual representation during the pandemic through Renegade Craft Fair and Craft Her Market.
Great. Thank you so much. So our second judge's question is going to come from Marianne. We'll give a second for Marianne to come up on the screen. Dealing with the technology. You're doing great, Samantha. Nice job. And there's Marianne.
Hi.
My question relates to you. In your presentation, you talked about potentially adding a lighting attachment to the planters at some point, and I'm wondering where does that fit in terms of with the 4,500 units and your move towards profitability? Where does that fall in your overall business model? The importance of the lighting attachment.
We would try to roll that out by the end of our first year, and offer, I think it was 400 units over 3 months at first, just to see how it goes, and product placement at craft fairs and whatnot. I think it's important for our product just because it's hard to grow plants without supplemental lighting in a lot of small apartments that, you know, have shady balconies or no balconies at all or weird windows. I have made LED lighting before, but we would like to have an electrical engineer on board. So it will take us a little bit of time to develop that product.
Great.
Let's go to William with the, thank you, Marianne, for the question. We'll go to William with the next judge's question as we bring him up. Love the encouragement in the chat. Some messages for you there, Samantha. Love the idea. Nice presentation. Billy over there wants 5 as soon as possible, so that's awesome. So we'll bring William up now with the third question for Samantha from LoFi Recycling Systems.
Hello.
Hi.
So my question is that you're driven by the nurseries and the gardens and stuff like that. And I know that you're going to go to the markets also, but for the repotting program, how are you going to connect that with your consumers outside the nurseries and gardens?
That we'll definitely make sure that that is on our packaging label, which will just be a recycled cardboard strip that kind of goes around the pot. And we will have links to our website, and we want to take revenue from our first year to reinvest into shipping costs so that we can keep that low for consumers. If they can't bring it straight back to our facility, they could just ship it to us.
Awesome. So Jim is next with the fourth question from the judges. We will bring him up on the screen here. Just a note, guys, you know, we are with the new technology. This has been great so far. I'm really enjoying this. We're going to go a little bit over 7:30, but so appreciate everybody rolling with this, and this has been awesome so far. So we're going to bring Jim up now. And we're going to get to some trivia too after this, after we bring up Jim and the last question as well. I'm excited for these questions. See your answers. They're all multiple choice, and you know, don't worry about it if you take a stab at one and go out there on one of the answers. But we'll get to that right after the presentations. Excited to hear your answers in between these pitches from these entrepreneurs. So. I'm sorry I can't see all of you out there. It was so much fun at Rowling Hall at UT to see everybody out and you know, hear the questions that you were asking. And I hope we can get back to that soon. But this has gone great so far. I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, it's nice to see that big auditorium of your faces and the judges as well, and to see you and just call on you. But this is what we're going to do as we get everybody up. So we're waiting on Jim. We've got questions from Radney as well. As we come through with Samantha. So we're going to get those two. And then next we're going to have Rescued Originals as well. That's going to be Kristen Gust. So looking forward to those. We're working through a couple tech issues to get Jim up, but that's okay. No problem there.
We were able to make a prototype in the past couple of weeks. Obviously very rough. We don't have molds or anything, but this plant has been living through COVID in this little made out of, we also couldn't get flashing from Gold Rush, unfortunately, but we used milk jugs and shampoo bottles to make that.
That's so cool. I love the little cactus. That's great. So we're going to get Jim and Radney up with their judges' questions pretty soon. Thank you for answering those, Samantha. Appreciate it. We're getting those together, and then we will get into the second, third, and fourth pitches of the night. So, like I said, this started a few months ago with these entrepreneurs who have been working with their mentors and working with these companies a while back. In February, we had pizza and we could network over that, but I understand. You were able to still get that networking done virtually in those rooms. So I hope that went well for the first half hour. If anybody wants to chime in on the chat and tell me how that was, let me know. I'm excited to hear about that and how that went for everybody. So that's pretty cool that we can still do this and have it work with you all here. And, you know, obviously respect safety and not gather together. So it's the ability to get this done and still continue with this competition is pretty awesome. So excited about that and getting everybody in despite not being able to see you all. So as we work through these, we will get those worked out and we'll get those last two questions in for Samantha, and then we'll move on. But Samantha, you've been a great sport. How did you think it went? I know this is new for you, right?
Yeah, and I'm not a great public speaker, so I'm actually a little bit okay with it being online.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was a little less nervous, but still pretty nervous about it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like looking into a computer screen is nerve-wracking in a different way than looking out over a room of people. Yeah, no doubt. You did great.
Yeah.
You did great.
I know,
wife,
I'm happy I went first. I can just watch everyone else's.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Pressure's off. My wife is a TV reporter. I'm obviously a print reporter and less used to these things. But she, handles it like it's no problem and doesn't understand why any of that would make you nervous, looking into a camera or out over a group of people. If any of you were here for the February event at Rowling Hall, Dita, our general manager, has a TV background. She worked in Oklahoma and she worked in Texas. She wishes she could be here tonight. Like I said, we had so much fun. I've said it 1,000 times already, but we've had so much fun with this event. And she wishes she could be here tonight. She has 2 kids at home, so it's a little tougher to wrangle 2 kids together. For something like this, when you are doing it over Zoom and you have the kids in the playroom and going through a long day. So we're getting 1 person for each of the pitches. We're getting 1 person for each of the judges and 1 person for the MC as well. So I'm happy to be here and enjoying being here. So thank you everybody so much for hanging on here for a little bit as we work through this. So we really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody taking time.
I got the question via our Slack channel.
Great.
Jim asked if I'm worried about the $9 price point. No, I think that it is a little high, but we do want to prioritize being able to pay people a living wage, and $15 an hour feels like a living wage in Austin. I know that the handout we got said 11, but it just, I don't know, didn't feel right. So anyway, a little high due to that, but as we are able to manufacture more, the price can come down. And to start out for like handmade local goods, I don't think that's a crazy ask.
Yeah, so our last question is going to come from Radney. And we see in the Slack channel Jim's question there. So Radney's question, Samantha, is how expensive are the machines you use, and how many will you need to meet your sale projections?
So if you look at the appendix that the judges have, just after sources, there's the budget breakdown, and that's the price of making these machines from repurposed materials and like a small amount of laser cutting for like the shredder materials and like reinforcing the bottom of the compression machine with like metal so that we can smush the pots. We only need 2 to meet our projected sales for the first and second year. I think they're such low cost that we would try to get a couple more by the end of our second year and bring the cost of our simple products down.
Awesome. So those are our 5 judges' questions. Samantha, thank you so much. Thank you for hanging on. Thank you for going first. We really appreciate it. We are going to move on. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So we are going to move on. It looks like the judges are able to ask in the Slack. So I can relay those, or if we're able to get them back, we'll have them come back on screen as the first couple judges did. We are going to move on to our second presenter. We're going to move on to our second presenter. Before we do, we'll have a trivia question down here in the poll. You can see if we are able to get those together. I'll throw it out there. We'll see if we can get that poll going. I know we're having a few issues with the tech, but we'll see if we can get that going. If not, we will move on to Kristen. So the question is, on average, how much plastic are we ingesting per week? And there are multiple choice options for the poll are going to be paperclip size, house key size, or credit card size. So you can choose from those options. And we'll see if we can get that going. But if we're able to get Kristen up, we will do so. We'll have her come up on the screen if we can get through the issues with Crowdcast. So we can have you respond in the chat box. I think I'm hearing if you can answer that trivia question in the chat box again. If we're having issues with the polls, you can go to the chat. So on average, how much plastic are we ingesting per week? Again, paperclip size, house key size, credit card size. Those are your answer options. So we are going to get Kristen going. We'll ask you to respond to the trivia in the chat, and we'll give you a couple minutes to get through that. So Kristen Gust is going to be next up. We will have her from Rescued Originals. She's repurposing decorator fabric samples. So we are going to get Kristen up on the screen as soon as we can. Thank you so much for hanging on with us. We appreciate it. There's Kristen. Thank you, Kristen. We appreciate you, and you are ready to go, I believe.
All right.
Go ahead.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. The world is always changing. Shifts happen in ideas, habits, expectations, and desires with each generation. Right now, we are seeing a huge migration in thought towards zero waste, eco-friendly, ethical consumerism, towards products that we at Rescued Originals have dubbed clear conscience choices. As the shift continues, more and more of our everyday products will be displaced by better alternatives. Companies that don't adapt to these new values will be left behind. Hi, my name is Kristen Gust, and I'm here to introduce you to our new company, Rescued Originals. The mission of Rescued Originals is to turn trash into treasure by utilizing surplus, reclaimed, and recycled materials to create high-quality, one-of-a-kind, clear conscience choices for common products that will not only keep waste from the landfill, but will create jobs that provide a sense of purpose in addition to a living wage. The City of Austin's Zero Waste by 2040 goal reflects how important this particular value is to us as Austinites, another reflection of our collective desire to see less waste, our organizations like Austin Creative Reuse. I discovered ACR shortly after moving to Texas, and it quickly became one of my daughter and my favorite places to go to shop. So I'm very excited at the prospect of partnering with them. Currently, ACR receives about 1 cubic yard of fabric sample donations each month. That's about 7,000 pounds of fabric samples each year. While ACR does its best to find new homes for this material, some still ends up in the landfill. These are only the fabric samples that local retailers are currently bringing in to donate. There are many, many more going straight to the garbage. We are losing thousands of pounds of quality textiles, which took a lot of energy and resources to fabricate, when they should be serving a greater purpose. When it comes to solving a problem like this, sometimes grand innovation is necessary, but sometimes simple and straightforward is the best approach. Our plan to divert the fabric waste is simple: stitch the pieces into new yardage that can then be used for a variety of applications. Rescued Originals' vision is to bring attention to the beauty and functionality that can be created from scrap fabrics, the way our forebears would create things like scrap quilts and flour sack dresses. So what is our debut product, you ask? A pet bed. You may be asking yourself, why start with pet accessories? Well, first of all, we Austinites love our animals. But also, the pet industry is booming. Today in America, there are more households that have pets than there are those who have children. And the market is predicted to continue to grow at a steady rate for years to come. Pet owners spend billions of dollars to care for and pamper their furry four-legged family members. In 2015, over $1.2 billion were spent on pet products in Texas alone. Now, how many of you are pet owners? If you are not, indulge me and pretend for a moment that you are. Picture yourself. You stroll into a pet shop looking for a new bed for your beloved canine or feline family member. You walk over to an aisle simply stacked with options. Your eyes pass over the shelves, scanning the inventory for something in the right size that catches your eye. You see a few beds that might fit the bill, so you start taking them down to inspect them. The first bed is simple. The cover is soft, the bed is squishy, and you think, Tiger might like this. But you look at the tag and you see that it's made an ocean away, and you think to yourself that it was probably made by someone being paid hardly enough to put food on their table. And then you picture this bed being shipped thousands of miles in a shipping container to reach you, putting so much strain on the environment, not to mention the unsustainable materials that it's made with. Sighing, you put the bed down. You decide next to take a look at this quirky little bed that stood out to you. It's patchworked from a variety of fabrics that feel very high in quality, and you notice that while there are 3 of this model of bed, each one is unique. You pick up the one that calls to you, and you look at the labeling. Rescued Originals, doing good every step of the way. What do they mean by that, you wonder? So you continue reading. Made right here in Texas. Manufactured with rescued and responsibly sourced materials. Crafted by people being paid a living wage. Helping to provide jobs for those with barriers to employment. Striving for zero waste manufacturing by using their fabric scraps mixed in with the fill. A portion of the profits are donated to local charity Austin Pets Alive. And unsold beds are also donated to Austin Pets Alive. And you think to yourself, wow, now this is a product that I can be proud of buying. Consumers need and want better choices. Sometimes our competition isn't the other companies out there. Sometimes the competition is merely the status quo. We estimate an average manufacturing cost of $40 per bed, with the bulk of that going to labor. Our plan is to launch with small and medium-sized beds, selling for $60 to $85 each. For online and special orders, we can make large and extra large beds for an additional fee. Our goal to sell 500 beds in our first year would generate approximately $35,000 in sales revenue, divert an estimated 3,500 pounds of waste from local landfills, and pay close to $20,000 in local wages. We are also excited to give 10% of the net profit from each bed sold to Austin Pets Alive, as well as any unsold ugly duckling beds. By using local sewing manufacturers like Stitch Texas and Open Arm Studios to build our products, we can be up and running quickly, which means that we can be putting money into the local economy, diverting waste effectively, and supporting local charity in a time frame of a few months, once the local facilities are up and functioning at normal capacity again following our current crisis. In the meantime, we will focus on refining our design, creating our patterns and our tech packs, and building relationships with local vendors and members of the community to build excitement for this new brand. In addition to myself, our team consists of Andy Elliott, a lifelong entrepreneur who leads a local business development group and will be lending his expertise in business and marketing, and our creative consultant, Liz Sanford, who is a crafter, a baker, and my #1 sounding board for all of my creative endeavors. Along the way, I hope to find other partners who can help Rescued Originals flourish as a local brand leader in the zero-waste, sustainable, ethical marketplace. Rescued Originals' tagline, "Doing good every step of the way," reflects our desire to make products that truly impact the world around us through reducing waste, creating living wage jobs, and supporting local charities. Will you join us in making this vision a reality?
All right, great job, Kristen. Really appreciate the presentation. So we are going to do the questions through chat, and then they're going to come through me. So I will ask the judges question. And before I get to the first one, just want to answer that first trivia question we had. Thank you for putting those into the chat, everybody. The answer was credit card size. I saw a lot of you had it. Those come from clothes fibers, washing machine, bigger pieces of plastic. I think if I actually ingested my credit card, I would probably save a lot of money that I've been ordering on takeout in quarantine. So that was the answer to the trivia question. We'll get another one later, and we'll get these questions in for you, Kristen, from the judges. So we're going to start with Marianne from St. Ed's. Her question is, why did you choose to focus on beds? As you mentioned, there's a whole range of potential pet accessories available for you.
That's true. We focused on beds because we were looking at trying to divert the most waste possible. And being able to take those scraps from trimming the fabric and being able to shred those and incorporate them into the stuffing allowed us to really truly be zero waste. As we expand and say we were to do, whether it's toys or jackets for dogs, or whether it's even pillows, decorator pillows for people's couches, other things, we will be able to incorporate those scraps hopefully into the fill. That's our desire anyway, which would keep it a zero waste manufacturing. And so that's why we went with beds to start with.
Got it. We're going to give the judges a second to ask their questions. I will let them have some time to fill in here. So second up on the list of judges' questions is going to be William. William will be the next one up. We'll give William a second here. I have some other judges' questions who I can get to, Aaron, so hang tight with us. I appreciate it. We're getting some questions as well from some folks in the chat. I wanted to get to those later. We'll give the judges a chance first, and then you can answer those. But we want to keep this fair for everybody. Get to the judges first, and then we'll let you take care of those as well offline. So we're going to get to Jim. Jim says he really likes the idea, and he asked if you could speak to the wages for labor, the two-step process of re-yarding at some time. So Jim asked if you could speak to the wages for labor.
Okay, so I have been in communication with Stitch Texas and with Open Arms, and the labor costs that we're looking at are still really, honestly, they're just a rough estimate because we have not been able to have patterns and tech packs and have samples sewn by professionals. But our estimates were definitely well within reason with what they estimate. She said that based on other projects that they have done, that they think the labor could be done for around $25 a bed, which then if you take into account other materials, the thread, any other additional fill materials that we need to purchase, things like that, between materials and labor, I think that our cost projections are pretty on point.
Got it. Thank you so much for the answer. We're next going to go to Radney Wood. So first off, he just wanted to say great pitch deck. It was really fantastic. His question was, are there other competitors in your space already making recycled beds? And if so, how do you differentiate yourself?
So from the research that I've done, I mean, there are a couple of Etsy sellers that are doing recycled beds, but as far as in the large manufacturing space that I've seen, the most I've seen as far as recycled is them using polyfill that is made from recycled plastic, but nothing where the entire bed is made from recycled materials or the majority of the bed. Because I do suspect that there may be parts of our bed that we may not be able to use recycled materials, but the majority of it, the goal is to make it as much out of recycled materials as possible. Everything else, like I said, has just been the polyfill and nothing else. Everything else was virgin materials.
Got it. We're going to do William's question next. His question, he loves the concept, but is concerned that dog beds might be a little seasonal due to Texas heat. Do you have other product lines available?
Definitely, we want to, like I said, our goal as a company is to figure out how to use this new yardage for a variety of different things. So dog beds was our starting point. We had to pick one product per the competition rules to pitch one product. And this was the product that we decided to really run with. But like I said, throw pillows. My first idea actually had been to do patchworked guitar straps. And I actually made some connections with that. But then we looked at the total amount of diverted waste. And honestly, I mean, even if I sold just as many guitar straps as I can dog beds, it's going to be far less waste diverted. So we were looking at the bigger net gain as far as diversion of waste.
Got it. And we're going to give Erin a second to type her question in and get that over to you. We've got 4 judges who got their questions in for Erin. And we'll get to another, for Kristen. Sorry about that, Kristen. Erin is getting her question in. So she said, thanks for the presentation. You mentioned COGS, but how much of a premium do you intend on charging to account for the craftsmanship? And how much of the market do you estimate is willing to pay that premium?
Well, like I said, we estimate the beds, the small and medium beds, to be priced between $60 and $80, depending on the size, which in my research, I saw, obviously you have the Walmart beds that are like, between $5 and $15 for the cheap polyfill beds. And then we have all the way up to Purple mattresses are selling now dog beds for hundreds of dollars. So I think we're comfortably in a median price range for people who are willing to pay for handcrafted items. Do I expect to blow up and sell 80 gazillion beds? I don't. We're kind of, I guess, going on the whole Patagonia model. You know, they have a very small piece of the market, but it's a loyal piece of the market. They make a well-made product. They do so environmentally friendly. They push on having something last for a long time versus buying a bunch of things you don't need. I don't expect that we'll be in every Walmart across the country.
Awesome. So that, I believe, does it for our judges' questions. Thank you so much for the presentation, Kristen. As Kristen Gust with Rescued Originals, again, repurposing those decorator fabric samples for pet beds. Thank you so much, Kristen. We are going to move on now to our third seed pitch. And before we do that, we'll get to another trivia question. Again, feel free to type those in the chat. So this question is, out of the over 31 million tons of material landfilled in Texas in 2015, how many tons of it could have been recycled? And your possible answers, we'll give those to you: 5 million, 9 million, or 13 million. Feel free to type those out in the chat. We'll answer that one after the next seed pitch. Some of those comments coming in for Kristen, that's good. Thank you so much for everybody for participating again. We are going to get into our third seed pitch, and the third presentation is going to come from Colin McCloskey with Terra Helmets. Colin is repurposing decorator fabric samples, scrap PVC waste from vinyl record production, and all-purpose polyvinyl chloride. That's the PVC sandals from Travis County. So we will get Colin up here on the screen. There he is. Hey, Colin.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you so much. We're ready when you are.
All right, perfect. Not seeing my PowerPoints. I'm just going to share my whole screen. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go. Hi, my name is Colin McCloskey, and along with my teammates, we have created Terra. Meet Adikesh Bupalam, Sunuru Kotagota, and myself, Colin McCloskey. We're all sophomore engineering students at UT Austin, Hook'em Horns, and also on our team is Billy Moyer. He's our advisor, and he's been helping us through this entire process. And our mission as a team is to promote safety by protecting what matters. So, what matters? Two things. First, protecting the earth, and second, protecting your head. Austin has an abundance of raw materials that are being unnecessarily thrown into landfills each year. And if we can find a way to reuse these materials, we can save up to 88% of the energy that went into creating them. Second, protecting your head. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are a lot of electric scooters in Austin, and this number is only getting larger. But among the thousands and thousands of electric scooters I see in the city, I don't see anyone with a helmet, and this leads to head injuries. In fact, in the past year alone, Austin has had over 350 reported head injuries because of electric scooter accidents. And when you do the simple math, this adds up to almost $500,000 in ambulance rides and ER visits alone. But this isn't even the big impact. A member of the UT community actually suffered from an accident on an electric scooter and ended up passing away after being hospitalized. And for my teammates and the school as a whole, it felt like we lost somebody from our community and who played an active role. And also, when I looked at a Lime after that, or any electric scooter, I was very hesitant to ride because of the potential outcomes. And it didn't just affect us, it affected his community and his family back home. And we actually reached out to the family and invited them to listen in tonight so they could be potentially here with us. And it goes to show the gravity of the effect that one of these injuries can have on a community, let alone over 350 that are happening every year. And it's really such a shame to see these communities suffering from this emotional distress when it could be so easily prevented with the right protection. So our protection is to reuse these materials that are being thrown into landfills unnecessarily and create a helmet that we can put on electric scooters around the city in order to ensure that we don't have any more head injuries and we can foster a safer community. So here's what our first helmet prototype looks like. The orange parts of this helmet are made of PVC sandal, and they'll be the cushion of the helmet. The white parts are made of PVC vinyl, and they'll be the hard protective outer shell. And the gray parts are made of the fabric textiles, and they will serve as the strap for the chin buckle, as well as the straps to fold and unfold the helmet. Because yes, when it comes to storage, the Terra helmet folds right up to about half of its original size. Now, we've done some market research, and we've discovered that there are a couple of foldable helmets already in the industry, but what makes the Terra helmet truly unique is not the fact that it's collapsible, but also that it's sanitary. One of the biggest things about the Terra helmet is that we're using antimicrobial technology in order to create a helmet that protects against fungi, bacteria, mold, and viruses. Not to mention that this same antimicrobial technology is used in healthcare around the world and proven to work. Finally, the Terra helmet is attachable, and this means that when an electric scooter rider is finished riding, they can just simply attach the helmet back to the electric scooter where it will be ready and waiting for the next rider. Also, among cyclists in their industry, one of the biggest complaints is that once they reach their final destination, they don't have anywhere to put their helmet. And so with the Terra helmet, they can easily attach it to their bike frame and securely lock it in place. That way, they don't have to carry around a big clunky object with them everywhere they go. So we've already started reaching out to electric scooter companies in Austin, and we've gotten some responses back, which is a great sign. And this is going to be our wholesale market. So we plan to kind of sell the majority of our helmets at the beginning in this wholesale market and use those initial revenues to branch into the consumer market and make the Terra helmet available for individual purchase. And finally, once we're established in Austin, we want to expand to other communities as well, because the electric scooter business as a whole is growing at over 25% rate each year. And so this is definitely something we can capitalize on in order to get those initial revenues to break into the consumer market. So obviously executing something like this is going to take some money. And so we have a brief projected costs and projected revenues slide here. And we estimate a cost of roughly $5 to produce one of these Terra helmets. But after some further research, we've decided that we can definitely get this price driven a lot lower if we get those big bulk orders from the wholesale electric scooter market at the beginning. And this is mainly because the Terra helmet is made of almost fully of repurposed materials. And so the direct material cost is very, very low. And then once we've produced these Terra helmets, we plan on selling them at an average price of $13 in the wholesale market, and then use those initial revenues to jump into the consumer market where we'd sell a Terra helmet for about $25. Now, we want to have an impact, not only on the Austin community, but even nationally or globally. And we think that that all starts here. What we're doing is we're taking byproducts that are being thrown into landfills and otherwise being deemed as useless garbage and solving a problem in the city with those. We're creating a helmet that has a long lifetime so that we can ensure that we're getting the most out of the materials that we've been supplied with. And in turn, we hope to foster a safer community, a community that doesn't have to suffer emotionally because of these needless head injuries because of electric scooter accidents. And finally, we're using local manufacturers along with local material suppliers in order to keep our brand as local as possible, because we want to start by creating an Austin brand at heart. And this means that, well, we strongly believe that producing locally will help us build that brand. So we already have an initial investment match of $10,000. And like I mentioned earlier, we want to create an Austin brand. And yes, that will come with local production, but we also are thinking about local partnerships with organizations such as Texas 4000 or other cycling events, just to take advantage of the active Austin lifestyle and encourage that, as well as get the name of the Terra helmet out into the community as well. And finally, once we've really established ourselves in Austin, we want to, like I mentioned earlier, expand to other cities with large electric scooter populations and capitalize on those communities as well. But the Terra technology is really not limited to electric scooter and bicycle helmets. This same type of technology can be applied to construction helmets, military helmets, and even football helmets. So there really is a huge potential for this kind of technology. And I know we've thrown a lot of information at your heads really quickly, but we hope that everyone listening in tonight loves the Austin community as much as we do. And we want you to take the next steps with us in order to promote safety by protecting what matters. Thank you.
Colin, thank you so much for the presentation. We're going to get the judges' questions in, and I will relay those over to you. Before we do that, I want to give the answer to the last trivia question as those come in. That question was, out of the over 31 million tons of material landfilled in Texas in 2015, how many of it could have been recycled? It's 13 million. I love the answer in the chat. That was one day 31 million. The answer was 13. I know a lot of you had that correct answer. So some questions coming in from the chat, but we're going to get those questions from the judges in first. So Colin, I'm going to start with a question from Erin Keys. So her question is, do you think a helmet like this would be able to pass safety regulations? And the second part is, how do you ensure an accurate reporting process to take helmets that have been damaged out of circulation?
Right. So we have done a couple of stress tests on our helmet already, and I'm going to let Siri talk about that part. But I do want to touch on the second part, which was making sure that we can like recirculate the helmets if they're damaged or whatever. We were thinking about implementing something for like the electric scooter chargers themselves, where when they go to pick up the electric scooters to charge, we could have them relay that information to us that, oh, this helmet needs to be replaced, or can you fix this certain part? But we do have a stress test, and I think that's Appendix A in the PowerPoint. So we basically have cross-referenced the multiple designs in the market, and we're confident that this will protect the head.
Great. We are going to go to a question from William. His question, Colin, is safety being a priority and helmets being tested for impact. Helmets are usually given a star rating. What star rating would your helmets received, and what type of impact test have you performed?
Right.
Hello.
Hey, Saniro. Hey, we'll let you. Maybe we'll let you answer that first part of that question. Then, Colin, you can, or either of you could speak to the second one. Does that work?
You got it, Sarah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hello. So as for the impact testing, I mean, unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we weren't able to actually go out and test it in a lab. However, I did use SolidWorks, a program I used to make the helmet, to perform a couple impact tests, including a head-on collision test and it's the standard drop test where you have a grapefruit-shaped anvil and you drop the helmet like this all the way down at a height of 6.6 meters. And it passed every test. The deformation scale was under 5%, which would register a 5-star rating for the helmet. And then for the second test, I did a little simulation where a car would hit someone's head at 20 miles per hour. And if you can see in Appendix A, the deformation of the helmet itself, and also received a deformation scale of 0.045, which is a 5-star rating.
Gotcha. So you spoke to the impact test dinner. I think either of you guys, maybe that first part of Aaron's question, Colin mentioned he was going to kick it over to you. But again, that was the modeling. Do you think it would be able to pass the safety regulations? Maybe that speaks to some of the impact testing, but not sure if you guys wanted to address that one as well.
Yeah, I think, like we've looked at other helmets in the market, and along with the stress test and all the tests that we've run on it, we're confident that it will be able to pass any regulations that we encounter.
Awesome. We're going to go to a question from Jim, guys. The sanitation issue is a big one, and will only get bigger. How do you prove to riders that your helmet lining remains sanitary after many uses? Have you looked ahead at how this might perform in crash tests? Again, so getting to that sanitation issue was Jim's question, judge's question there.
Right. So Addy dealt a lot with the sanitation aspect, so I'm going to let him. I think he can answer this question and give you a lot more information than I can on that one.
Awesome. We'll give a second to bring him up.
Mm-hmm.
So we will get him up on the screen here.
Yeah. But while he's getting up, I can speak to the fact that we're using the same type of antimicrobial additive that is commonly used in healthcare, like all around the world. and it's proven to protect against viruses. So I know COVID-19 obviously like a huge deal right now, and hopefully we plan on the antimicrobial helping with that.
Yeah, so the technology that we plan on involving in the helmet itself is going to be using silver ion technology. And the company that we consult with and are going to be working with throughout this process has shown that the technology works by actually causing protein damage in the microbes that are going to be coming in contact with the helmet. It can cause cell membrane damage. It can cause oxidative damage, which essentially means that there's going to be increased levels of reactive oxygen species. And what that means is that it'll cause the microbes to overwork themselves and essentially kill it. There's also been DNA interference, so that causes the microbes to actually stop replicating and growing. To answer the coronavirus situation, what happens is that there's been some testing. They've done testing on feline coronavirus, the company that we've actually worked with, and they've done it with a polypropylene sample that has the technology incorporated into it. And they noticed that 90% of the feline coronavirus was gone after 2 hours. Now, saying this, it's only been tested on feline coronavirus and has not been tested for the COVID-19. This shows that it can kill off in the corona family, but it has not been 100% tested yet for the COVID-19 just because there's a lack of resources that are in testing. What happens for testing is that you need to have a live sample because viruses need a host to live. And essentially, you can't really have that host right now because we don't have enough samples. And so with time, we will have more testing and can prove to customers that it's a very safe option and can be shared from one person to another. Again, it's used in healthcare. It's even used in baby pacifiers. So it really comes to show how this technology is very good and can protect people from biohazards and materials from sharing.
Awesome. Guys, we're going to wrap it here just in the interest of time, and we are going to move on to the next presentation. Again, that was Terra helmets from that group. That was our third seed pitch. So really appreciate them coming on. We are going to get to the fourth seed pitch now. So we will bring those up as we get. So these UT students dress up better than I do for my Zoom meeting, says Ashley. I love that. That's awesome. We'll get to our next trivia question as well as we transition over to the last seed pitch here. Our next question is, the Texas recycling industry supports approximately how many jobs? 5,000, 17,000, or 25,000? So throw those in the chat. We will get to the last seed pitch. I've got Taylor Henderson. I see Taylor's already with me on the screen. He's with the Recase Project. Taylor's repurposing decorator fabric samples and scrap PVC waste from vinyl record production. Taylor, how you doing?
Doing good out there. Did we freeze up?
I think you're all set. I see your screen. I see that you're screen sharing, and I think you're ready to go, man. Take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Taylor Henderson, and I'm here with my business partner, Bill Balliette, and we'd like to introduce the first ever recycled polyvinyl chloride phone case manufactured right here in Austin, Texas. Now, we found that PVC is the third most commonly used and manufactured plastic in the world. There's 80 billion pounds being produced each year. But with that staggering number, it's no surprise that 7 billion pounds are being discarded into US landfills alone each and every year. Now, with the primary method of traditional disposal being burning the plastic, it's causing serious problems as far as harmful dioxins that are being introduced to the atmosphere and are destroying the ozone layer. Not only this, but we're seeing respiratory issues being caused in animals and humans alike. Now, despite the feasibility of repurposing this PVC, nothing's being done. And we're not seeing very many changes or solutions within the cell phone accessories market either. That's where we come into play. Our solution is the Recase Phone Project. We look to reduce 99% of the dioxin emissions that are being introduced to the atmosphere through our process compared to the traditional landfill burning process. It's shown that 75% of cell phone users buy at least one phone accessory per phone life. We're seeing 1 billion cell phone cases being manufactured and sold every single year. We're looking to offer one of the few environmentally conscious products within a $60 billion per year industry. Within our business model, we've also found that we can use 2 reverse pitch resources. We'll be provided for free both resources. The first coming from Austin Creative Reuse, also known as ACR. They'll be providing the fabric backings, as you can see, that will create the backs for a unique and individualistic style case. We're also going to be given free PVC from Gold Rush Vinyl to then create the cell phone cases. All the jobs will be kept with this project in the Austin Metroplex. So we're going to actually be able to manufacture the tool, mold it, and create it here within Austin. We'll keep our sales through local boutiques. Starting out, we're also looking at hiring local coders to create an e-commerce website for our business so that we can offer multiple styles to a larger market. I'll let Bill take away the potential revenue and net income.
Hi, guys. Yeah, so our plan is to begin generating sales before the end of the summer through our online sales channel. And the retail line of sales would then start in Q1 of 2021, Q1 of next year. The intent is to keep overhead low by basically not taking salary until the sales rise to a level where we can support that, which would be sometime in late 2021 or 2022. And the COGS, since we're getting the materials for free, the COGS are pretty low, estimate about 25% of sales. And so based on all those numbers, we forecast growing sales to roughly $3 million annually in 2025 and generating $500,000 in net income in that year.
Now, we plan to generate these sales through local boutiques. We look to use our networking and our experience with working with some of these local boutiques through my sustainable design fashion so that I can work with places like Dylan Wild, U-Break, iFix, and other potential cell phone outlet providers or cell phone accessory outlet providers. Our online web store would offer customizable designs, and we do limited edition styling to grow our market even further and give consumers the advantage of having not only a sustainably designed cell phone case, but also offering individualistic styling on each case. The 3 cases already come as the PVC scraps in 3 different colorways. So that adds a value that the customers can then choose from, whether it be the red, green, or white styles that they come as. We also plan to do trade shows. We plan to do local events, and we're going to do pop-up stores to not only gain exposure and sales, but to gain some real insight onto the exact demographics of our market that we can cater to. With this being said, we're also looking at our local media teams being hired, within the Austin Metroplex, because we're going to need a platform strategist to help us with our social media. We're going to need marketing teams to help us with our advertising needs. We're also going to be looking at hiring local coders, as mentioned before, to help us with our website, to make sure that it's efficient and optimized for customer use. And we're looking at hiring local product photographers who can really give us the upper hand on the aesthetics and creating the lifestyle of the brand that we want to make. The molding company, like stated before as well, is in Austin Metroplex. It's up north, and Bill and I have been working closely with them. They're known as Detail Molding, and he'll give you a little bit more information on them.
Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, so Detail Molding, the key guy there is a longtime 3M veteran. He was an internal injection molding expert within 3M. And when he retired, he then entered into this business with detail mold. And so in discussions with him, we came up with a mold frame approach and a hot runner molding approach to basically produce zero scrap from molding these cases. So zero scrap, and then the mold frame approach would allow us to swap out different case styles with very inexpensive insert tools, all the expenses in the base tools. So it's a really good approach for it. After interacting with him quite a bit, we basically came to the conclusion that this is very feasible, very doable, and he's ready to go as soon as we're ready to pull the trigger.
Thanks, Bill. Now, with this being said, we're seeing an environmental impact of the reduction of 300 to 500 pounds of the landfill PVC initially. Now, our 5-year trajectory is showing 10,000 pounds per year being taken out of landfills or diverted from landfills. And that's a conservative figure, as Gold Rush Vinyl has already shown that we can get up to 1,500 pounds per month donated for free. We're seeing a 99% reduction of dioxin emissions through our process. And we're seeing toxic emissions drastically reduced from completely omitting the landfill trash. Where to next? We're looking at the cost of $75,000 for our tool for the molding of cell phone cases. As Bill stated earlier, this is going to be a one-time cost, and we're looking at crowdfunding platforms to boost exposure and gain the momentum and to gain that figure. We, in turn, hope to gain an insight of our exact demographics within that. And we're also exploring solutions to expand the usual 2-year lifespan that is found on cell phone cases. Because if you ask yourself, how often do I go through a cell phone case? Guaranteed it's probably every 2 years. We're also looking at a solution as far as environmental benefits from each consumer cell, and such as potential planting of trees or giving back to the local community, or even boosting revenue for our potential donors. Bill Balliet and myself, we really think this is a feasible opportunity and a good project to carry on with. I have a huge background in sustainable fashion design, and I am very conscious as far as this project goes, because this is my background and this is what I look forward to working on. Bill.
Taylor, thank you so much, man. Sorry. We're going to move on to the judges' questions for you and Bill. Thank you so much for the presentation. I'm going to get the judges' questions over to you. We're going to start with Radney Wood. So Radney's question is, what are you doing to ensure that you continue the recycle process by keeping your used cases out of the landfill?
Okay, so that's one thing that we had pointed on, is that in the traditional cell phone manufacturing world, they're seeing that the phone cases are being disposed every 2 years. So we'd like to offer some sort of initiative for a recycle program. Get a percentage discount off, which a lot of sustainable companies are doing. Companies such as Eileen Fisher within the fashion industry are offering discounts to customers who then donate back the products that they've bought from them. So we're looking into initiatives such as that.
Cool. Thank you guys for the answer. Second one from Aaron Keys, Judge Aaron Keys. There's tons of different types of phones, obviously, out there on the market. Which one would you target first and why?
Through our research, we've actually found that the iPhone market and iPhone users are more likely to buy cell phone cases. And we all know exactly why. Every single person that I know that owns an iPhone needs it and owns a case for it. They have a very high susceptibility to breaking, and the dropping impact point is very low. So we feel that reaching out to iPhone users will be our first, our best approach of interest, and to make sure that we're really gathering the most sales and hitting the most potential that we can.
From Marion Ward, Paradosa guys, what will the price of the cases be?
So we were looking at a segmented market rate of anywhere from $32 to $36. Now, this is in comparison with other sustainable cell phone companies or cell phone case companies that are offering comparative rates from $35 to $50. Our online retail cost, that is our online retail cost. However, our wholesale cost, we're looking at a lower price point of about $17. for any outlets or boutiques willing to carry our product.
And guys, a question from William Stockton. He also typed this one in the chat that we can see over there. Huge competition and no standard phone case out there. Do you believe that you'll be able to keep up with the rapid change in phones, the dimensions, and how will you recycle the old style cases when they're no longer of value as those change?
So going back to our initiative that we answered in the first question, that's kind of something that we'd like to work on and finding a solution to keep the outdated cell phone cases out of landfills by people donating back to our company and giving those back. We can then regrind and hopefully make more, which is something we're looking into now. Trying to keep up with the market, as Bill stated earlier, it's going to be a one-time tool molding cost of $75,000. With that tool, we'll be able to adapt and make basically different templates of different cell phone cases. So we'd be able to adapt to the changing market. And then each time that a cell phone was initially supposed to be released from iPhone in the beginning, we'd have the leg up and already be aware of the designs and specifications of that so that we could create a new product before the iPhone actually hits the market.
And final question from the judges here from Jim Walker. I know you guys spoke to the disposability of how you would recycle. He says he likes that you're targeting a classically disposable product. So a different variation on that question, but could it be taken back and deconstructed and remolded multiple times? Could you send your old cases to the LoFi biz? Jim asked about the remolding process there.
I'll let Bill take over and answer a little bit further in detail with that.
Yes, the material can definitely be reground multiple times and injection molded again. So if we can solve the problem of actually collecting the cases and getting them, they can definitely be reused. They're reground and then molded again. So yes.
Awesome, guys. That is going to do it for our judges' questions. Thank you so much, Taylor and Bill from the Recase Project.
Thank you, guys. And thank you so much to our advisor, too.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So we asked that trivia question before of the Texas recycling industry. How many jobs? 5,000, 17,000, or 25,000. The answer to that one was 17,000. Our final trivia question is: there are more microplastics in the ocean than there are stars in the Milky Way. Is that a true or a false? So we'll get that going in the chat. Feel free to answer there. So our judges now are going to score all of the pitches. Thank you so much again to those presenters. We had Samantha, Kristen, Colin, and his team, Taylor and Bill. Great pitches, everybody. It's going to be a really hard task in front of the judges to score those and finish this up. Seeing a couple false answers coming in. I hope not from Chase. I love that. We'll get to that answer in a few seconds here. We'll give that to you guys. So that was the conclusion of the pitches. Again, thanks so much to them. I will get the heads up when we are ready to get the scores from the judges. What was the response to the job questions Daniel asked? I believe the answer there, Daniel, was 17,000 in the Texas recycling industry. Approximately how many jobs? And Kayla says false. There are more than 500 times the number of stars in the Milky Way. So that's going to be our pitches, guys. Again, I will get to those judges' responses. You definitely want to hang on to those. We are going to get to the People's Choice Awards. So this is going to be done. I know you've been answering in the chat with some of the trivia questions. We are going to do the People's Choice Awards in the polls. So you see that poll pop up right there. Please be sure to answer that there. Who is your favorite? We've got the 4 options there: LoFi Recycling, Rescued Originals, Terra Helmets, and the Recase Project. So we've got those votes going. Thank you to those who are already getting a few in. I see about a dozen or so in now. We're going to keep that up, and we're going to give you a couple minutes to answer. Again, the People's Choice winner is going to receive a $25 gift card to a green local business. So please make sure to put in your vote there. We'll give you a couple minutes on that one. And just in the meantime, thank you so much to everyone involved tonight, whether you're a judge, a presenter, a sponsor, if you were just here because you were bored, as we said in that first poll that we put up. We really appreciate it. A big round of virtual applause for the Austin Young Chamber. They work so hard. They're focused on strengthening our economy through initiatives and efforts designed to build and develop Central Texas young professional workforce. They do really great work. You can go check them out at austinYC.org. Sustainability is really such an important topic. It's something we've covered at Community Impact. Recently this month, we wrote about the Austin Recycles app that launched. We mentioned that at the top of the program. The city waiving some extra trash fees. People are staying home more often. They're generating more trash. So yeah, that's something we've covered. It's something that we are paying attention to, and we really appreciate it. So again, thank you to everybody. I just want to talk a little bit about CI and community impact, what we do, while we have a couple minutes here as we're waiting for those judges' scores to come in. So we were started in 2005. Our first edition was covering Round Rock and Pflugerville. That edition has since expanded to include Hutto. Our CEO, his name is John Garrett. They launched it in the game room of his house, and they had 3 employees at the time. So now we have 9 editions in Central Texas. I mentioned that at the beginning. I believe we go up from Georgetown down through my edition in Central Texas, all the way down to San Marcos and New Braunfels. Yeah, I really appreciate that from Rohan. I think all the projects were great. A lot of time went into them. Yeah, absolutely agree with that, Rohan. That's a great comment. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. So I'm the Central Austin editor for Community Impact. Radney says he reads it every week, and I appreciate that, Radney. Thank you so much. So I'm our Central Austin editor. Our Central Austin edition started about 2008, and we a few years after the Round Rock edition. So we're a monthly. We've changed what we do the way that a lot of you, I'm sure, have changed your lives in the last month and a half. So that's a little bit about community impact. I believe the judges' scores are in. I'm hearing that all systems are a go. It's time to find out who is going to take home that innovation prize. And we see that vote for the People's Choice Award, Rescued Originals in the lead with 27, Terra Helmets with 25. So I think we are ready for the judges' scores. It's time to find out who's going to take home that innovation prize. Please join me. We're going to welcome Madeline Morgan to the screen here. You'll see her pop up beside me. Madeline is the Conservation Program Coordinator with Austin Resource Recovery, and she is going to present our awards. Thank you guys so much. You've been so positive in the chat. You've really been awesome about this event. We're going to get Madeline up here now. Hey, Madeline.
Hey. Well, thank you all very much for staying on till the end. Thank you, Jack, for moderating for us, and for all of the finalists who spent time, especially during this unprecedented time that we're experiencing, working on their projects and doing what they can to put their pitches together and even develop prototypes. So thank you, and thank you to the mentors, to the advisors, to our judges for putting in time and helping make these ideas really solid contenders. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the pitches. We have the votes tallied. But before I get to that, I do just want to let you guys know about a couple of upcoming events that the Circular Economy Program has going on. The Circular Economy Program is a part of Austin Resource Recovery, and we do different programs to support businesses and entrepreneurs in the circular economy sector. And 2 upcoming events that are going to be on the line now, so they'll be open for anyone to join, are our Fix-It Clinic. We're having a virtual Fix-It Clinic on May 16th. We are asking that if you have a broken or damaged item that you would like to troubleshoot and try to repair, that you fill out an application telling us about that item by April 29th. And you can find out more information about that at our Facebook page, facebook.com/Austin Recycles. I'll also throw the link in the chat here shortly. And then we also have a sustainable fashion or sustainable and circular fashion educator workshop coming up the first week of May. And that is really geared towards educators of fashion and design. But we are opening it up to any businesses or students that are also interested in attending. And that is a 3-night part series with 2 hours from May 4th through May 6th. And I'll also throw that link up there. So I think without further ado, also Jack, props for your emceeing, because my brain is going everywhere with all of these back-end messages coming through. So yeah, without further ado, let me just make sure I'm saying the right things. We would like to congratulate LoFi Recycling Systems for being one of our winners tonight. So we have your award here. Usually we have a nice big check that is reusable and we get to present and take a photo op, but I believe Mel is going to try to invite LoFi up to the screen. Momentarily. All right, here we go. Hi, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So round of applause, virtual round of applause. Yeah. Is there a way to also get the award on the screen here real quick so we can do our photo op via print screen on the keyboard? Let's see if Mel is able to pull that up.
I think everyone's projects were great. I really enjoyed this pitch competition so much.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for competing, Samantha, and we really appreciate your. We just had a question from one of the judges. This is one of our Innovator Prize winners, so $10,000 prize along with the prize pack. So congratulations, Samantha and team. We are really excited to see what you're able to do with this, and we'll follow up more with you offline on what the next steps are. So thank you, and round of applause again.
Thank you very much.
And our second winner is, virtual drum roll, is Terra Helmets. So we will invite them to the stage. And there's their nice award. All right.
Hey,
awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So this is our other Innovator Prize winner. So again, another virtual round of applause in the chat box for Colin and his team. Oh wait,
yeah,
sorry.
I definitely, it's unfortunate it's virtual because Addie and Saru should definitely be up here. I think they should definitely get a turn to kind of say their word. But we're super excited to see what the next steps are.
Yeah, we are too. And a really cool thing about this project is that it uses 3 of our byproduct materials. So really getting innovative there as students at UT. So a big congratulations. And again, we will be following up with next steps on what comes next.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Colin. And the People's Choice winner, I think we still need to announce that. And I actually don't, I actually don't know who the People's Choice winner is, so I'll let Jack take it away.
Yeah, so the People's Choice, so we had an incredibly close vote, it looks like. All the votes are in. Terra Helmets has 33, and but shout out to Rescue Originals. That's incredible, 32 votes. 37.6% of everybody who came in. JG says, love the hair. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been a while since the haircut, buddy. Yeah, it's only going to get worse, too. But yeah, Terra, really to all those companies. Recase Project, Terra Helmet, Rescued Originals, and LoFi Recycling. Those presentations were all great. As Anthony just said, somebody will definitely invest. And those were terrific pitches. Thank you to everybody for rolling with us, for taking this in stride, for getting those great pitches out. Thank you to the judges. Thank you to the Young Chamber, to the city as well, and Maddie. Really, really excellent job. So I want to thank everybody again for attending. The planning team organizations, the promotional partners, the innovation prize supporters. It was a really great event. The first ever virtual event, you guys. It was new and exciting. I know if there's anybody who can break into new territory, it's these partners and these entrepreneurs, and you all did it. So I really enjoyed being a part of it. It was a little crazy. It was super fun. Thank you to the city, to the Young Chamber, Mel, Alicia. You guys put in so much hard work, and everybody enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you so much.
And this broadcast will be live as soon as we end it if you want to go back and watch anything.